And we're live on YouTube. So let's just get ready. Okay. So before I start, we're going to talk about two things. The first thing we will talk about today is that we the delay today was basically because I had a long morning, so I had to start late. So I dropped a message that I'll start by 12:30, and I'm finally here. Secondly, we where we stopped on Wednesday was that we were trying to use the API agent as a middleware. Let me share my screen so I can just point to that quickly. So we're going to go to Zoho Flow. We're on Zoho Creator already. Also going to open Zoho Flow as well. Okay, now I need to confirm that I am audible, so I'm just going to check. Okay, yes, I think I'm audible. Okay, so that's just sound check. So this is the API agent app, and we had created some record, but again, we had cleared the console of our self client. So if you were hacking, sorry, you missed. Okay, you can't have access to mess things up for us. Okay, this doesn't work. As you can see, this refresh token is going to be invalid. Okay. So if I this is manual. So this is a manual record. After refreshing after revoking the refresh token, this record is set to manual. So even if we save it 1,000 times, it's going to be manual, and it's not going to work if we take it off being manual input. So if we remove this manual input now and we go ahead, it's going to fail this internal exception. Of course, this internal exception is basically just telling you that there was an error trying to run all the tokenization deals. So you find out that there's no other information here. You can't get refresh token. Okay, so you have to. But this is also something we want to probably look at as to getting the specific reasons for issues. So what we might do, maybe in a later update of API agent, is to try to bring out more details and reasons. But of course, from this, you just know that it's because the code, the client secret, client ID, or the temporary code are not correct. One of the following is not correct. That's why you can't even get a refresh token or get an access token generated or generated again. So let's get to it. So we duplicated our flow. Okay. This is the duplicate. We called it code base. And this code base, what we're trying to achieve was that we wanted to replicate the process from Zoho CRM to Zoho Flow with code and not drag and drop. So this is the drag and drop version. Okay. So remember we executed it the other day and it gave us a very good value for this was 2 days ago. Let me see. Okay, so from 2 days ago. So we had executed it and it was able to give us an access token, an API domain name. So we got what we wanted. So it means that we can use this to carry out any action we want to carry out if we do the right thing from the onset. Now, remember, we already fetched the configuration using the name. So which is Zoho Books read, which is Zoho Books read and update. Okay, so here we have Zoho Books read and update. So we also have the same thing in the app, Zoho Books read and update. So it's going to check for any configuration that has this name. Okay. Okay, this is API console trying to make a confirmation to me. Okay, so we are clean, no self client. So now let's come up with our plan. What did we want to do? We wanted to check if the customer exists. We update the customer. And what are we updating the customer with? A couple of details. We took note of those details the other day. And let me just try to retrieve them from where I kept them. I stuck them somewhere. Yes, so for update, we wanted to update the salutation. We wanted to equally update the first and last name and display name. But for create, we were going to choose the organization type to be individual, then change salutation, first name, last name, and display name. So this is quite simple. So to do this, we're going to go to the API documentation for Zoho Books. Okay, this is the official documentation, zoho.com/books/API and all that. So open this here. And we go to, in this case now, we're going to use contacts. Because that's what Zoho Books makes use of. So to check whether a contact exists, we're going to have to try to get the contact. Okay? And this is how to get contact. It's just a simple call with the organization and contact ID. Okay? So in order for us to get the organization ID, we need to go to Zoho Books. So this is Zoho Books opening up now. All right, so that appears to be, yeah, that's the organization ID up there, that one. Okay, so now let's try to, yeah, we have, but the customer ID is going to be gotten from the flow of things. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to create a function. And what that function does is that the function gets contacts. Okay? It's more like this fetch customer function here. So let's go to custom functions here. I will say get contact. Or get Zoho Books contacts. Or Z Books, so that you don't mix it with Zoho billing. Okay. And then in this function, you have the return type is going to be a map. And then we're going to pass in the various details. Last thing is we'll pass the contact ID. I like using string. I never get it wrong. Then you're going to pass the organization ID. Okay. And we have our function ready. So in order to use this function now, we're going to do a few things. First is we'll have a reporter give us a map, report output status, status false, report output, message, dash, report output, data, no. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do here is to now we're going to do something that we failed to do in our other app, and this is just to teach you how to handle some of these challenges. So when we look at the API documentation, we find that there is code 0, message success, and contact is something else. So what we're ideally going to do is that we're going to have error message as dash. So anytime there's an error, we'll return the error and make sure that the error returns at our try catch. So we're going to start a try catch. Catch. I will call this error. Now we will then say that we're going to report error if there is an error message. So we'll say if error message is not equal to this, then we're going to do something about that. But for now, let's do this. Okay, so now it's only message that is being affected there. Great. Okay. Now this would help us do error message, and this would focus on error. So that way, this is how the error is going to be reported if anything goes wrong. Next is that we're going to invoke URL. To invoke URL, we need to put a variable, and that variable is going to be get contact. Now the URL for getting contact is this. So we'll copy the entire URL. And then we'll put a quote and paste that URL. And now the method is get. We do not have any parameters here, but then in this case, instead of headers, we're going to have connection. And for connection, we're going to check the connections that have been added here already. So here we have ZB contacts, and the details are going to show right at the bottom here, which is ZB underscore contacts. Okay. So, sorry, excuse me. So this will be ZB underscore contacts. So what we're going to do right here is we will say if get contact. Now we didn't do this or catch something well because it's supposed to. Okay. Wrong way. Let's stop it there. Okay, this is good. So, if get contact, dot get dot code equals 0, it means that things were successful. So what we're going to do here now is we will say status is true. We'll say contact retrieved. Okay. Then we will say we will say now this is for successful. We'll say get contact dot get, and yeah, contact is what we use to. Yes, contact. So we have that contact. Okay. Then if it's not so, if it's not 0, then we have the false situation of this. Okay. Now, for this situation, we are just going to say get contact dot get message, and we'll close this out. We'll say false, and then we will make this null. Now, in this case of error 2, we will take this now and take our error message equal to this. So we'll say error message. Okay. Okay, let's be sure that. Okay, you have to return the map. Yeah. So return reports. Great. So we've done this editing here, but we have to now do some concatenation here. We'll say plus contact ID plus. Then this is plus organization ID. So this is going to try to get a contact and the contact organization nicely. And we're going to test it. So let's try to test it now. There's the contact ID is contact organization. Now what is interesting is that if you do not put it properly, let me try to put just the organization of the contact and see what this does. Okay. Okay, so now it did not retrieve the contacts. So we have some debugging to do there. Okay. So what we're going to do is to say, instead of contact retrieved, because we cannot really get anything there, we will say and get contact dot contain key. Contain key contact is equal to true. So let's run it again. Okay, so this is the input. And message was still success. Okay, and now in this case, I'm going to have to do something about this message. And I'll say that if the error message is, oh no, not even error message, the data itself. So I would say if get contact dot get data equals null. So we have the error message is equal to no contact. No contact found. Okay. So let's do this again. Good. So this is no contact found. So let's check this organization ID here and check this contact ID. Okay, and then we execute. So let's check, and there you go. You have your very own contact that you have fetched the information for. Okay, so now we have gotten contact. So we have that if it's true, there's a contact. If it's false, there's no contact. So this has been sorted out. Now let us now have what we will use to create or update contact. I'm going to make a copy of this function so that I can get some of the characteristics. Okay. So let us okay. So let's get now. You know that in our case here, we used connection, but now I want us to use access token. So in order for us to use access token, we have to follow the instructions of the API. So this is this now. Now we're not going to use this again, we're going to use access token. So to use access token, we'll have headers, header data, so I have header data. Now header data that puts, we're going to take the Zoho hot token side of things. So okay. So this is authorization. Authorization. What does that even do here? Okay. Then we'll take Zoho up token. So the up token will then be a string that has it. Okay. Okay. So let's have OAuth token. Let's change this stuff to OAuth token. And we have our header data. So instead of collection, we'll say header data. I'll take out this part. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Syntax error line 16. Okay. Hmm. One header line. Okay. Okay. Let me run this. Okay, headers. So we can 11 needs to be a proper statement. Okay, we'll take this out. Okay, so we have everything defined properly. So we'll take Zolobooks contacts here. Good. So we have get customer. Okay, here we have for the contact that you want to get. Okay. Um, I'm trying to. I think there is. Zoho Books ID here. Because even the let's see what the field are. Okay, we have already disconnected them. But I think that in pulling up this chair is not good. So I think I have to let me change this chair. Okay. So let's see. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Okay, yeah. I think I should be able to sit comfortably here. Mhm. So I'm going to have to check in those here data if there's supposed to be something for Zoho books. Um, hmm. Hmm. So you are checking by hmm. So I think I want us to also be able to search via email. Or better still, what did we use to check? Check. So to check whether it exists, we used customer ID. Customer ID from where? I wanted to fetch customer. Fetching customer from okay. We fetch the customer using I think email address. Okay, ZCRM ID. That's what we used. Great. Okay. So we're just going to use this trigger ZCRM ID. Okay. So let's come here and use that. So that kind of tells you the contact ID. Then for organization ID, we don't have that information. So what we're going to do is, for this our case, we're going to provide it manually. So we'll come and look for organization here. Okay. Then we have the OAuth token. Okay. So in terms of generating access token, we need to have so I think we need to get to the bottom of things. We need to get to data access token, but let's um, let's go back to the history. Let's get it now. So we have the read access token dot data dot access token. So the read access token dot data dot access token. Okay. Okay. So this is just ID. Okay. And then we have organization. Where's the organization ID? We're going to copy that. Okay. And you save this. So this will get the contacts from Zoho Books. Okay. So this will give us the contact ID, as it were. And if it doesn't give us the contact ID, that means we have to create it. So we then have to put this condition now, or we need to put it now differently. And this is for customer exists. So we'll come to this contact. Okay. So we need to check from the function what. So this is supposed to be like status, yeah? So we're just trying to get the status. Okay, and this is get contacts. Okay. Uh, let's see. Get contact. Mm, I think that what I want to do here is to just put only the contact ID. Okay, so let's just say contact. Get contact is not now. Okay. So now this is taking a lot to close. All right. So we're going to change that function a little bit. And what we're going to change it to is new reports. Okay, we're going to make this a string. And only when the contact is listed that it will say new report. Don't contact get. Don't get customer ID. Okay. So we have a new report here. Okay. So let's return new report. Okay, great. So that will give you the contact ID. And if I need to get any more data, I can get it as well. Now, what's the status? Okay, that's some test. Look, that's not our issue. What's the email? That's for the beginning. That's not an issue. Check time what's not an issue. So all we had to do was contact, get contact is not now. Okay. Now here we'll have get contact is equal to now. Okay. Get contact is now. So this is not existing. This is existing. Both are get contact. Okay. So this does this. Now we can continue to create customer or do other things. But let's just say that this was what we decided to work with. And maybe we didn't go towards using API to create customer or update customer. Let us then see how this will work. Okay. So we've used it as a middleware to some extent. Time to test. Okay. So let's try to run this script by updating the CRM. Okay. So let's go to Jondo. Okay. I used Jondo. Zoho books. Okay. Okay. Let's save. So let's see what happens with the flow. It's completed. So we try to fetch. It did not see. Hmm. Okay, there was an error. So it did not bring out a customer. So if customer is not, what did it run through? Customer exists. This is first customer. Oh, we're still using first customer. I'm so sorry. We're supposed to change that. Hmm. We need to change to get contacts. Good. I'll change this to get contacts. Okay, good. So this is going to try to create a customer. So in order for that mistake not to happen, we're going to have to go and generate our self client again. But for our self client, we have to remember our scope. Um, we need the read and we need the update. Zoho's contact update. Let's also do Zoho's contacts create. Okay. So we'll come here, add a self client. Okay. Ask them to confirm. Okay. So it has created a client. So we have a client ID. It's a client ID. Then we have the client secrets. Then let us take our API scope real quick. So we have create, read, updates. Okay. So this is so we copy this now. And then we save. So this has generated our refresh token and auth token. Now, without doing anything else, okay, if we run this, it will execute excellently well. You know, we have already tried to do this today. So let's try to restart it now and see what it does. Okay. Okay, this created a customer. But let me see. So we have the data access token. Oh my god, it's wrong. Sorry. We didn't encode this. So I need to go to Zoho Books and delete this matter here. I'm just going to delete, see, the one that was created later. It's 8th of August. So that's this one. So I'm going to delete this. Okay, and the correction I have to make here is generic access token or data access token is supposed to be in parentheses. Okay, so it's supposed to be in parentheses. So we're supposed to do this and this, because if we put a function, for instance, like this, see, it's supposed to have this. It's supposed to have like a dollar sign at the front. Okay, so we'll apply changes here and we'll try again. So now let's restart this. Okay, so this is completed. And what happened here? Okay, so the auth token came here, but it still did not get the contact. Let me see. It went ahead to create a customer. 479 to 601. Okay, this is wrong. This is wrong. And oh, it updated the CRM record with that contact ID. That was the issue. Oh, did it update it? Okay, no, it has a wrong contact ID in the CRM, I'm thinking. So I think that, yes, it has a wrong contact ID. It does. So I think we should be careful next time. So let's this one is 6001. Let me just show that I don't cause conflicts now. Um, so I think this is the one that needs to be removed. Yeah. So I need to remove this one. Okay. Oh, I even did the wrong thing over and over again. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's even yeah, don't worry. Okay, so let me change this to doctor here. You can make sure that the ID is correct. Yeah, because when I had the error the first time, I didn't really take note. Okay, so let me now save. So it has run a second time. Okay, for whatever reason, um, yeah, it didn't get the contact. I think the issue is going to be. Let me just try to go and investigate what went wrong. Okay. So to check what went wrong, we're going to try to run the function. Okay, I'm going to try to info this get contact. So let me try to get the token. So this was able to fetch the ID. So it's contact ID I was supposed to use. Sorry, I did the wrong thing. It was supposed to be contact ID. Okay, lesson learned. I'm just going to fix this and start all over again. Okay. Um, so I'll fix this and start all over again. This is 6001. I'm going to go and correct that there. This is the doctor that was created. And there's another record. So I've removed the doctor now. And I'm going to pick this one. Yeah, so now that I've corrected the issue, so it came up with correct information, but it did not have anything to report. It was null. So that was the issue. So let us quickly just try to run this. I think we can run it again. It shouldn't create anything. Okay. Now it's still not, except it wants to say that the function doesn't update runtime. So let me do something too that needs to be done. One thing here that needs to be done is there has to be an update of the record in order for it to generate a new access token each time. So what we just need to do is to update this record. So we're going to bring a logic here, and we'll say that if record ID is not null, that's when you continue. Okay, found records, search for records. So if it's not null, that's when you should continue. But what are you continuing to? You're continuing to update the record. So you go now and update cell client config. We're doing this in API agents. We're choosing the cell client config. We're choosing the all cell client configs. We're choosing the configuration name that you found. But what we're updating is fetch auth data only. And we're using your record here. Okay. So updates um, cell client config. It is the update cell client config information that we will then use to do what we want to do. So this update cell client config, we're doing OAuth URL from here. Client ID from here. Client secret from here. Refresh token from here. And that's it. So that will give us an accurate representation of continued access token. So this will auto arrange everything, and this should work. So let's go to customers here. Remove the doctor. And we'll make sure that what is in CRM is not something else. Okay, great. So we're going to save this now, and it should work. So let's come here now, search for record. It gives us the updates. We generate access token. It still did not. Hold on. OOTRL. Updates. Okay, I guess we have to like fetch it again after updating because the update will not give us data. That is what I realize. So after updating, we have to fetch it again. So we just need to clone this. Fetch 2. Okay. And then we continue from here. So come to fetch record 2. Fetch self-parent config 2. Okay, so we're fetching it again. And we're now going to use the fetch parent config 2 to fill in the OOTRL. The client ID, the client secrets, the refresh token. Okay. Now we ended up creating another record again, which we're going to still delete, which is the doctor you see here. Okay, so let's go edit again. Okay, this didn't change. So let's save again. Process completed. So let's make sure that everything works. So we tried to search for a record. The record was found. We tried to update. The update was done. We tried to search again. The record was found. And I believe it's going to have new credentials because Everything started at the time of the update again. Then generate access token. We got our access token here. Okay, then we get Zoho Books contact. It still did not get the contact. So I'm trying to understand what really happened here. I'm going to copy this out again. I'm trying to really figure out what else is the matter here. Okay. It should be just one heck of a flu. This is supposed to be string. Yes, near report string. Okay. So I'm wondering what else is wrong. Okay, so let's let's have the up token. Let's have the contact ID. Let's have the organization ID. Okay, it brought this out. Contact or contact ID. Okay, so it's organization ID, contact ID, and up token. Trying to understand what is the issue here. Code and contacts, which is one. Trying to understand why. Okay, now let's see why it didn't read. I'll copy the up token. I need to do this quickly before it expires. Contact ID and then the organization ID. Okay, so it is true and zero. So I am now wondering why then didn't it? Okay, okay, this came out right then. Okay, so yeah, it came out correctly. Now let's now do this. Okay. Oh, the ID. The I was uppercase. That was the issue. There you go. So we need to delete this again and go and update that record one more time, and it should do the updates. So sometimes these things are this troublesome. So save, and then it's going to change to doctor. Yes, it did change to doctor. So let's now go to the history and see how it happened. So it fetched the config, quite alright. Searched for the record, it updated the config, quite alright. And then we generated access token. Okay. Then we tried to get the contacts, which came out right. We checked for existing customer and we saw that customer exists, and then we updated the customer. So this is our middleware operation, and thank you so much for joining us up to today. Next week, we're going to consider more authentication standards and more things that we can do about authentication to keep things safe for everyone. Just stay tuned to this. See you 12 noon.